The Texas Tech defense looks to take the next step in year number 3 of Tim DeRuyter as the defensive coordinator out in the 806. In today's video, we'll discuss the 5 biggest storylines for the Red Raider defense heading into the 2024 season, including who's going to take over the interior of the defensive line without Ameir and Jalen Hutchings. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as we are fully into football season here moving forward. We'll talk a little bit of basketball, but football season will be heavily on the docket. We will be talking about position previews, film breakdowns. Lyle Leong, yes, that Lyle Leong will be back. The guy that, is only behind Michael Crabtree in career receptions in terms of touchdowns at Texas Tech. Yeah, he'll be back on the channel here in the not too distant future. So if you want to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football all year long, all you got to do is like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the most interactive and largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, one question before we get today's video started and talk about the 5 biggest storylines on the defensive side of the football, in my opinion. I want to hear from you guys. Told you, it's interactive here. Let me know, what is the biggest defensive storyline for the 2024 season for Texas Tech football? Let me know down on the pinned comment below what you think it is. Is it the corners? Is it linebackers? Is it who the hell is going to get to the passer? Let me know down on the pinned comment below what you think the biggest defensive storyline in the 2024 season is for Texas Tech football. All right, let's jump into this because I think that there's a lot to discuss on the defensive side. As always, we will work backwards from 5 to 1, starting at 5. Can the pass rush be better? Who steps up? You think about it, last year, Steve Linton really only had one good game as a Red Raider, and it was against Baylor. Funny enough, that's where he is now playing for Dave Aranda. This will be a collective group effort, as like it was last year for Texas Tech, if we're being honest. But can you get more sacks? Can you get to at least 30 as a team? Because last year you only got to 27 sacks. That was 4 less than the year prior. Obviously, you lost the top 10 pick in Tyree Wilson. That's going to hurt your pass rush, no doubt about it. But now you have guys with a little bit more experience, and you have a guy coming back in Isaac Smith, who had a fantastic Liberty Bowl appearance, right? You got Ameir Washington, who balled out in Shreveport. You got guys like Joseph Adedire, Dylan Spencer. This is going to be a collective group effort, but is there one guy that rises to the top per se? And if it is going to be the guy, who is it, right? I think if I had to put some quote-unquote money on it, I would guess Isaac Smith, but I think there's a lot of quality depth there. It's just who's going to rise to the top. That's the big question for me on that front. All right, at number 4, we got who replaces Rabbit at star. I mean, I think this is arguably one of the most pivotal positions for the Red Raiders on this defense for Tim DeRuyter and crew. And you'll hear a lot about CJ Baskerville. He'll be doing a ton for the Red Raiders. There's no doubt about that, but he will be at the safety position, and maybe he creeps up. But the guys I'm looking for to replace a guy in Rabbit that was drafted in the 4th round by the Arizona Cardinals are AJ McCarty, Baylor transfer, didn't get to play last year, out in the 806, and then Brenden Jordon, the true sophomore. Those are the 2 guys that I think will be battling it out. I think right now I would probably say AJ McCarty has the inside track to be the starter at star for the Red Raiders heading into fall camp, but don't be surprised if that's a big position battle and you see those guys rotate in and out, because those are 2 of the better athletes on the whole defense for the Red Raiders, and obviously they have to be pretty damn athletic if they're playing the star position. But like I said earlier, that is one of the most pivotal positions on a Tim DeRuyter defense, and I think those guys will be well equipped to come in. It's just, what's that level of drop-off from Rabbit to AJ McCarty or Rabbit to Brenden Jordon? If it's, minuscule, I think Texas Tech has a chance to really propel themselves defensively in 2024. All right, number 3, young guys, man. I mean, who's going to make an impact? There's a ton of guys that will have a chance to really make an impact on this defense for Texas Tech, because you lost a plethora of guys, not only in the secondary, but on the defensive line, okay? So you think about some of the guys that you lost, whether that was to the portal or simply graduation, right? Malik Dunlap, gone. Rashad Williams, gone. Rabbit, gone. You've also got guys like Jalen Hutchings, Tony Bradford, who we'll talk about here a little bit more in depth in just a second, gone. You're talking about 5 really high caliber starters for you last year for Texas Tech, and there's others as well. Who steps up as young guys? You obviously went out in the portal and got some guys as well, but who are some of those highly touted recruits that step up early and often, and we'll talk about some of them here in just a second, because I think that's where Texas Tech, if they really, really want to take that next step in year 3 of Tim DeRuyter on the defensive side of the football, these young guys are going to have to show out. Some of these guys that stand out to me, and I think that can take that next step and have a bigger role and play more snaps on the defensive side of the football, include Jaden Cofield, who is a freshman, redshirt freshman at D tackle. You got Dylan Spencer. You've got Harvey Dyson. Those guys are going to play boundary end for the Red Raiders. The aforementioned Brenden Jordon at star, Chapman Lewis, at free safety, and then Mo Horn at corner. I think all of those guys right there have the potential to start or play significant snaps and have significant roles for the Red Raiders on the defense. And that's just a few of them. I think there's going to be more guys that step up and elevate their game that are younger, whether that's, freshman, redshirt freshman, sophomore, whatever it may be. But those guys are really going to be potential starters. It would not shock me at all if Jaden Cofield starts. It wouldn't shock me at all if one of Dylan Spencer and Harvey Dyson start at boundary end. Brenden Jordon at star, we talked about it. That's probably going to be a position battle between him and AJ McCarty going into the fall. Chapman Lewis would not shock me at all if he's the starting free safety, and then Mo Horn on the outside. I expect him to be a starting corner with the level of athleticism and the pedigree that he brings to the Red Raider secondary. So, again, who are the young guys that step up? Those are 5 names that I'm watching. There's going to be a few more, but that's really going to be that, okay, if they step up, Texas Tech can take that next step defensively. Now, the nice thing is for Texas Tech as we transition into the number 2 storyline going into 2024 is you don't have to worry about linebacker. You are, just loaded at this position, a stable of linebackers, and arguably one of the best linebacking duos in the Big 12 in Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts. Ben Roberts, a guy that was one of the best freshmen in all of the Big 12, either side of the football. We know what the impact Jacob Rodriguez has on the defense because, he missed numerous games last year due to injury. He got back, and the Texas Tech defense looked better. They're going to be an electric duo at the linebacker position for the Red Raiders as they will both start. And it's kind of crazy if you think about it in the sense of last year at this time, we were talking about who the hell is going to play at linebacker, like who's going to step up. Because we were talking about Jacob Rodriguez transitioning to that linebacker spot and having a bigger role. Was Ben Roberts going to be a guy that really steps up? Well, the answer was yes. And now you feel really good about the really just core linchpin of your defense being the linebackers, and both of those guys moving sideline to sideline. You got a couple other guys in there as well, including Dingle, who brings speed, and numerous other guys that probably will play significant snaps for the Red Raiders. But don't get it twisted. This is the anchor of your defense and guys that are going to cover up a lot of mistakes and prevent big plays if need be. All right. Speaking of big, it's not big plays, but 2 massive human beings in Tony Bradford and Jalen Hutchings. They both left a massive size hole in the defensive line, specifically the interior of it, for the Red Raiders. Who steps up? Because let's face it, you're replacing a guy that is called the Mayor, one of the most beloved players in Texas Tech football history, and then one of the most productive interior defensive linemen in Jalen Hutchings. Tony Bradford was very productive as well. Jalen Hutchings was too. So you're talking about dudes that you have to replace that have been there for half a decade, okay? Who steps up? This will be a team effort, I think, just like who will get to the quarterback aspect of it, right? The defensive line will be a group effort until somebody rises to the top. But some of the names that I think will play big-time roles early are Duda Banks and Quincy Ledet. Those are 2 guys that will lead the charge, in my opinion, in terms of the interior of the defensive line. But I'm also watching out for a guy in DeBraylon Carroll who transfers in from Rice. You've got the aforementioned Jaden Cofield, Trayvon McAlpine. Those guys will all play a lot of snaps as well for the Red Raiders. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the interior of the defensive line. And those are my major storylines for the Texas Tech defense headed into 2024. Let me know if you disagree or agree with any of them down in the comments, and let me know what the biggest defensive storyline for you headed into the 2024 season for Texas Tech football is down on the pinned comment below. And I'd be remiss to mention, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you're instantly notified when a video is uploaded here to the channel. You can't beat that, and it's 100% free, so join the most interactive and largest group of Texas Tech fans here on YouTube in the Back to 12 podcast channel.